You mentioned some of the films and TV things that you
Uh-huh.
are watching now or that you've watched, but what's on your reading list right now?
Reading list right now. I don't know. I read a lot of business news. Right now, I'm reading old man stuff now. I even have like right here. I think I have Warren Buffett's annual report. I love Warren Buffett, so I'll read stuff about him and whatever he writes. I was reading a Walt Disney biography. That was fun. I haven't finished it, but that was an excellent book so far. Yeah, I've been reading biographies. What book did I read recently that I really enjoyed? Yeah, I actually don't have much time to read while I'm in production because it just takes me away too far away. I do most of my reading when I travel to promote the books, so my reading time will be happening about a month and a half to 2 months from now. Yeah, sadly, I haven't read any comics. I don't know if that was what you're digging for, but I haven't read
whatever's
any
on your reading list.
Yeah, no, I'm not reading too much.
So, what does the market look like now for artists or writers who want to get their graphic novel published?
The seas are rough right now, only because the industry is in in a state of flux. I mean, there's a lot of things changing, and change scares a lot of people, and it's always kind of a bad time to try to do things the traditional way. I do think there is a really bright future for digital content. And so if you're making stuff like this, I actually implore you to really look into digital first and foremost, and then really push it. I mean, this might mean that you go out and do things on the web, in a webcomic form. It's not really the way I'm doing things now, but I mean, making an ebook might be the way to go too. Yeah, as far as working with traditional publishers, they're going to be a little more conservative in what they choose to publish, because there haven't been that many hits when it comes to graphic novels. I don't think there have been too many homegrown hits. Most of the hits have been manga titles from overseas, so they just license it from them. It's just been hard to find people who could dedicate their entire lives to something that would promise no pay. There are very few people who would have that kind of moment of clarity like I did with the Nausicaa books, where I just said, I don't care if I make money, I'm just going to do it. What doesn't matter what happens. If I just go to the poorhouse, then that's just the way it's going to be, because I have to do it. And I knew that I couldn't stop doing it until I at least figured that out, and then I'd go be a sushi chef or something. I don't know, something where I could just go and make some money, But I had that, and so I ended up being one of the few people that had, I guess, the experience to be able to deliver the books. And there just haven't been that many people out there that have been able to deliver the books and the kind of content that a mainstream audience wants. And so publishers have of course been skittish, to pick up new books, because they don't know what they're going to get. But you can always finish your book. You can always even just print some copies for yourself and then show other people. And if it's good, then it'll be a lot easier for a publisher to say, okay, I can see what this is, because this is what it is. Then maybe we can publish this. And that's probably the best way to go now. You pretty much have to finish your whole project, at least in a black and white and thumbnail or in a readable form. I would recommend doing that. I was one of the lucky few that was able to just do like a 6-page sample and a 1-page synopsis, and I got my book picked up with that. But really, I think people were looking at the resume, where I had delivered the flight books and I had done Daisy Cutter, and they knew that I could finish a book. And again, finishing your projects is one of the most valuable things to be able to show. So you want to finish. Just finish whatever it is you're doing. Don't just do concept art or anything like that for your book. Just do the book. Just do something, and then you'll get better as you go. But yeah, stormy time. It's hard. It's a hard time, but good stuff makes it through. So just push.
So this last question is kind of like a repeated,
Okay.
sort of, you gave some advice, but what advice would you give to artists who are doing their own thing, or from what you've learned, what kind of words of wisdom can you give to an artist or a writer or artist-writer?
Right. When you say do your own thing, I notice you're talking. Yeah, well, I'm creating my own content.
When somebody's doing a web comic or a graphic novel or...
Understood, yeah. I would take the emphasis away from doing your own thing, you know, the idea of doing your own thing, and focus more on doing the right thing. The only reason I was telling someone this yesterday or a couple of days ago, one of the only reasons I'm doing this is because I was at the point when I started all this stuff, I was making a living fixing a lot of other people's things. And I just didn't want to fix things anymore, you know. And that was the only reason. If I'm just working on a great project, I'm working on a great project, that's great. And I could do that forever. And if I'm working for Miyazaki, I'm there. I'll be there every day. You know, I'll be there to like try to make it better, and work for the man. You know, even if he doesn't. Apparently, he doesn't pay very well. But I mean, he works really. You know, he works everybody really hard. But I mean, I'd be there. I just wanted to do what I knew would be good, like something that I thought would be very good. And I saw that there weren't that many people spending a lot of time just developing their story skills, and so that they could do something right out of the gate. That's why I did this, because I thought, well, I think I can do that. I'm still young, and I'm a pretty good storyteller now, and if I just dedicate myself to like, you know, to 8-10 hours a day, I'll eventually be very good at it after a few years, you know, maybe 10 years of experience, and I'm very, very confident in my ability to create something out of the gate as something solid. So my focus was always storytelling. I used comics as a vehicle for me to be able to learn that. So I guess the two things that I would focus on is not just, don't focus on yourself, but think about where you fit in the whole scheme of things. I sort of saw myself on a macro level. I looked at the entertainment industry, and I saw that there was a need for good storytellers. And I felt like if the entertainment industry was a sports team, then the guy telling the stories is one of the most integral. It's like the point guard on a basketball team. He's one of the most integral. You know, he plays one of the most integral positions, you know, for the team, and everybody else needs that person, you know, and there weren't that many people training to be that guy, and so I tried to find a way that I could train myself to be that guy when, you know, when the time comes when I have to be that guy, and so comics, you know, fit that need for me. So, you know, making money was kind of secondary to just being able to continue doing it. I just wanted to continue doing it. I wasn't looking to be a great comic artist. That's not, was never part of the plan. I never even thought that that could be possible. Like that I'm like some kind of famous comic artist that makes a living doing this, you know. I actually thought I was going to continue doing freelance work to support this for the most part until Amulet started to succeed. And then I just started, you know, building all this up to make a professional outfit out of it. So, yeah, just focus on, you know, knowing where you fit, you know, making that little corner of your universe really, really strong, you know, and put yourself in a position to be to always be a student, because I kind of feel like I'm always learning, and that's what kind of drives a lot of what I do, is I'm trying to strive to get better at everything, and I picked one of those mediums where like there's just so much learning to be done. I mean, it's so hard, it's so difficult. It's still difficult for me. It's never been easy, but I do feel I do it fairly well. That's why I picked it, and I decided I'll just try to be the best at this. But yeah, just keep learning. You know, just have fun. Don't put too much pressure on your art. You know, and find your place.